Amazon rainforest. Deep inside the Amazon, where daylight thins beneath massive crowns of green, an ancient presence moves without announcement. No twig snaps, no leaf shifts. Its motion resembles a living current, sliding across soaked soil with effortless control. Insects pause. Small mammals freeze, and even the forest air seems to tighten as it passes. The snake, a quiet apex hunter, does not rely on sound to command its realm. It advances with the calm precision of water filling every crack. In stillness, there is warning. In movement, there is consequence. From cloud forests in Southeast Asia to sun-scorched Middle Eastern deserts, from hidden Amazonian wetlands to the endless dunes of the Kalahari, snakes occupy nearly every ecosystem on Earth. They persist, they adapt, and they endure across climates and continents. They are the unseen architects of balance, rarely noticed, almost invisible, until a single strike exposes their presence. Across myths and in science stories, snakes appear again and again, not as monsters, but as symbols. They represent fear. They represent respect. And the raw truth of survival. They lack limbs, they lack ears, and blinking eyes. Yet they remain one of evolution's most effective designs. Every scale interlocks with purpose, forming a system refined by time. In a sunlit clearing of southern India, where golden light cuts through foliage, a sovereign emerges, the king cobra. Its olive body, marked by pale bands, reflects a warning written in color and form. Today, it hunts neither rodent nor bird. Its focus is another snake, smaller, quicker, and highly venomous. In this contest, speed alone is not enough. Accuracy decides everything. The king cobra advances slowly, calculating distance with remarkable restraint. Then, without hesitation, it strikes with explosive force. Fangs connect, venom surges, racking through the bloodstream like fire. The smaller snake coils in resistance, but biology has already taken control. Venom spreads. Systems fail. The outcome becomes unavoidable. The prey is consumed whole, its shape reshaped by each breath. Digestion unfolds over hours, sometimes days. Nothing remains. No bone, no skin, no trace. Only energy converted into survival. The cobra's gaze shows no emotion. There is no long-term plan, no complex intent, only the moment. This simplicity is its greatest danger. Unlike lions that depend on teamwork, or cheetahs that rely on speed, snakes require only timing. One error, one bite. Time and chemistry do the rest. Instinct does not hesitate. It delivers outcomes. The snake's body appears minimal, yet it is a biological marvel. Without external ears, it detects vibrations through its underside, reading the ground like a map. Each footstep becomes information. Without a prominent nose, its forked tongue samples airborne particles, delivering them to a hidden sensory organ. There, chemical signals form a detailed portrait of the environment. Snakes do not experience the world as humans do. They taste direction. They hear movement. They feel presence. Some species, like pit vipers, go further still. Their mal sensors allow them to detect body heat in complete darkness. In silence, they gain clarity. Hundreds of vertebrae create unmatched flexibility, enabling climbing, swimming, and striking from narrow spaces. Muscle reflexes mass with precision. A continuous engine runs the length of the body. Movement without noise becomes a strategy. Within this design lies the ultimate adaptation. Venom. Of 10 invisible, yet capable of collapsing vital systems from within. Neurotoxins shut down nerve signals, ending movement in moments. Other venoms dissolve muscle tissue or rupture blood vessels, causing rapid failure. Each formula reflects millions of years of refinement. Each is chemistry shaped by survival. Sometimes the bite is barely felt. That is enough. An internal chain reaction begins. No roar, no visible struggle. Only spreading silence and slow call laps. Among insects and small vertebrates, one strike can reshape entire food webs. Not every snake relies on venom to survive. Giant pythons of Africa and Asia have mastered another form of dominance, sheer constriction. Their massive bodies can overpower antelope, wild pigs, and even young crocodiles. They kill not with poison, but with relentless patience and raw muscle. A python coils around its prey, tightening its grip with every exhale, cutting off the air. Death does not come from broken bones or bleeding, but from suffocation. It is a silent strategy, as inevitable as nightfall. Picture the savannah at dusk. Antelopes gather around a shrinking waterhole, the last oasis of the dry sea sun. Hooves splash through the mud. Young ones play while adults drink cautiously. None suspect the predator lying motionless beneath the murky water. The python watches with cold, unblinking eyes, as a fawn leans down to sip. It strikes like a coiled spring. In an instant, the prey is wrapped in an unyielding embrace. No bones snap, no blood spills, only the sound of desperate struggle, and the tightening grip grows stronger. The prey gradually weakens, surrendering to inevitability. The python begins the final act, swallowing whole. It does not tear or chew. Each motion is deliberate, patient, until the meal vanishes into darkness. Then the snake rests. Its swollen belly tells the tale of a massive feast. It may not hunt again for weeks. A single, precise moment secures survival. Throughout history, snakes have embodied fear, mystery, even evil in human culture. Yet in the wild, they are indispensable. They control rodent populations, prevent disease, and reduce crop pests by removing excess. They maintain balance in the food chain. They are not cool or full, like peacocks, nor regal, like lions. Yet their work is quiet and essential. The world may despise them, but nature favors no one. There is only one law, survival, and snakes, silent and inscient, continue their endless journey across the earth, reminding us that life, in its purest form, never demands noise. The African sun sinks slowly over the vast Serengeti, turning open grasslands into a sea of gold. Red dust lifts with the wind, blending with fading light, as the horizon seems to burn. Then, in the distance, movement appears, a living tide of black and white advances in endless columns. These are zebras, relentless travelers, repeating one of nature's greatest journeys each year. Their hooves strike the ground like rolling drums. Thousands of steps merge into a single rhythm that trembles through the earth. Dry grass shatters beneath them, and the air vibrates with unstoppable motion. They do not move alone. Behind them comes a second wave, wildebeest. More than 1.5 million bodies, joined by hundreds of thousands of gazelles. Together, they form the largest moving assembly of life on Earth, the Great Migration. This journey is not chosen, it is demanded by survival. The rains have faded, grass has withered, water holes have vanished. To stop is to starve, long before predators are free. Zebras lead the way. Guided by inscient instinct, they push toward lands where rain will return and grass will rise again. Their stripes are more than decoration. Each pattern becomes protection within the herd. Light reflects. Bodies overlap. Motion blurs visible. Predators struggle to isolate a single target. In the crowd, every zebra is shielded by collective, a living armor of contrast and speed. The road is unforgiving. Danger waits in the tall grass. Lions remain unseen, golden eyes tracking weakness and delay. When one zebra falters, the balance breaks. A roar tears the air. Dust erupts. Silence shatters in an instant. life ends beneath powerful claws, while the herd keeps moving forward. In migration, the individual yields to the flow. The journey must continue. Day after day, night after night, the march continues. Under moonlight, the herd advances, guided by distant rain and instincts etched into their genes. Muscles ache, breath shortens. But stopping is not an option. Endurance is the price of life on the plains. Then, they reach the greatest barrier, the Mara River. Here, movement turns in to decision. Ahead lies a boundary between survival and death. Brown water surges for war, fast and unforgiving. Beneath the surface, ancient hunters wait. Nile crocodiles, prehistoric ants, over 5 meters long, motionless until the moment they strike. Tension thickens along the bank. The front line halts, ears twitch, eyes fix on the current. Pressure builds from behind as thousands push forward. Breath, dust, and fear fill the air. Time stretches. Then one zebra leaps. Silence breaks. The herd follows, pouring into the river like a living avalanche. Chaos erupts. Bodies collide. Legs thrash against the current. Water pulls with relentless force. Fear spreads beneath the surface. The crocodiles move. A sudden swirl marks the attack. Jaws snap shut like iron traps. One zebra is caught. Ano's ear is dragged away, gone within seconds. No screams, only splashing water and flashes of red. Still, Mani make it across. Necks stretch forward, eyes widen. They stumble onto the far bank, trembling, exhausted, live. Without looking back, they charge toward green grass, glowing in sunlight. Behind them, the river calms. The crocodiles sink once more, waiting for the next crossing. Above, the sky is no longer empty. Vultures circle silently. Cold eyes scan the riverbanks for those who did not make it. When they land, another chapter begins. No thing here is wasted. Every death feeds an other life. Loss becomes nourishment. The savanna completes its harsh, flawless cycle. For the herbivores, the journey continues. Green fields of fur relief, but not rest. This is the season of breeding. Males clash in fierce contests where strength and stamina decide dominance. Hooves pound the ground, teeth tear through manes, calls echo across the plains. There is no pause. Victory earns the right to pass on bloodlines. Defeat brings retreat. Wounds car ride in body and pride. New life follows quickly. Foals are born. Within minutes, they stand. Within hours, they run. On the savanna, weakness is never given time. Predators remain close for the young. Protection comes only from the herd itself. Movement continues. Generation after generation, in dust, stripes, and thunderous steps. The great migration is shaped by numbers, but lived through individual stories. A mother shields her foal. A young zebra falls behind. A male fights until exhaustion. A newborn steps into an uncertain future. Every stride is a gamble. Every river crossing reveals how fragile life truly is. Within the moving sea of bodies, zebras are more than travelers. They are symbols of endurance, unity, and instinctive strength. Without them, the migration would lose its direction. Their role guides the fate of millions, and though many fall, the strip-edge flow never stops. Across the plains, black and white brushstrokes continue to paint the land. The journey has no end. When rains fade in the north, the herds turn south again. Once more, they cross rivers, face predators, and challenge hunger. The migration is eternal, a looping rhythm of life and death, repeated year after year. And within this cycle, zebras are not just witnesses. They are the driving force, tireless travelers, writing the endless story of the African plains with every step. Under the blazing African sky, where heat ripples rise from cracked earth and the horizon stretches without end, massive shapes begin to turn in slow circles. Dark silhouettes glide silently above the land like fragments of night drifting beneath a ruthless sun. These are vultures, unseen custodians of balance, guardians of continuity, where life must move on. They lack the majesty of eagles and the music of forest birds. Their appearance can unsettle the eyeballed heads, shaped by necessity rather than beauty. Yet every motion carries purpose, restoring order to the endless cycle of life and death. While lions roar and hyenas echo with chilling laughter, vultures remain still watching. They never arrive first, and they never strike, but they are always present at the final moment. In their own way, they matter as much as any hunter. Without them, the plains would become fields of disease and decay. Where others finish, vultures begin. High above, a Ruppel's vulture stretches wings nearly 10 feet wide. Patient and precise, it rides invisible currents, circling along pathways carved by rising air. Razor-sharp eyes sweep the ground for miles, reading signs no human could ever notice. Below, under the unforgiving sun, a zebra lies motionless, the silent aftermath of a lion's hunt. The stillness breaks as these ancient birds descend. One lands, then another, followed by white-backed vultures, pale-winged scavengers, and long-eared silhouettes. Within minutes, an empty sky fills with circling forms. One by one, they lower themselves, wings spread wide, like sails slowing their fall. The feast begins. There is no roar, no chase, no spectacle of speed, only curved beaks, working with ruthless accuracy. Tough hide is opened tendons, severed with precision. This is not chaos driven by violence, but efficiency, shaped by necessity. Each bird claims a space, pulls, releases, and yields to the next. Their work goes far beyond hunger. A vulture's stomach contains acids powerful enough to destroy heavily decayed flesh, brittle bones, and deadly bacteria. What would kill other animals becomes nourishment here. Poison is transformed into life. Through this invisible service, vultures protect the health of the savanna. They remove disease, halt infection, and cleanse the land. What appears disturbing to human eyes is in truth nature's sanitation system at work. Their bodies are perfectly designed for this role. Hooked beaks cut through thick skin like living blades. Strong legs keep them balanced above the ground away from rot. Bare heads and necks are no flaw of nature. They are adaptations preventing infected flesh from clinging after feeding. Every feature is a tool built to face what others cannot. As the sun sinks low, washing the Serengeti in gold and amber, the vultures remain absorbed in their task. But peace never lasts long on the plains. From the tall grass, a golden shape approaches in silence. A lone lion, muscles-tight eyes, fixed, carried forward by the scent of fresh meat. One vulture senses danger and releases a harsh warning cry. In an instant, the air explodes with wings and dust. Most escape in time. One does not. The lion strikes like lightning, and the bird falls still. It becomes what it once bore witness to so many times before. The lion does not eat it. Its focus remains on the zebra. In that moment, the savannah's highest rule is revealed. Power always decides. The cycle does not pause. When the lion withdraws, the vultures return as if nothing has changed. Hunger outweighs fear. They descend again, finishing what was left behind. The zebra that once ran across open grass becomes fertile soil energy, returned to the earth through tireless wings, musica. A vulture's life is not confined to death alone. They too struggle to survive. Breeding begins during the cooler months, when the sun softens its grip. They seek safety high above the ground on cliffs, ancient trees, or sheer rock faces. There they build massive nests from branches, grass, and feathers, true fortresses for the next generation. Females lay 1 to 3 pale speckled eggs. Both parents take turns incubating, shielding them from heat and curious predators. For nearly 50 days, vigilance never fades. Then fragile chicks emerge covered in soft white down. They are weak and helpless. Every meal comes from parents tearing flesh into pieces small enough to survive. Step by step, the young learn. First, they stand at the nest's edge. Then they flap clumsily, letting the wind carry them. Flight is learned through failure and patience. Each attempt brings them closer to claiming the sky. But danger is constant. Young vultures must learn not only to fly, but to coexist with rivals and avoid enemies. A hungry clan of hyenas can overtake any feast. Speed and numbers mean nothing when brute force arrives. With crushing jaws and haunting laughter, the table changes owners. Vultures retreat, knowing their beaks are made for death, not combat. On the plains, mercy is rare. The weaker must always yield. When the hyenas finish, only scattered bones remain. Then the vultures return, once more patient as shadows. They strip away what is left down to exposed marrow. Nothing is wasted. What looks like ruin becomes balance again. Vultures may seem ominous, even symbolic of death. In truth, they are messengers of continuity. Without them, carcasses would pile up, decay would poison the air, and disease would sweep through herds. Each wide circle in the African sky reminds us that nature knows neither beauty nor disgust, only function. Life depends on both the lion's roar and the vulture's silence, opposite forces bound within the same invisible web. And so beneath cold eyes and endless wings, vultures remain the quiet protectors of the Serengeti. They seek no glory and inspire no awe. Their purpose is simple: to finish what others begin. Misunderstood, unseen, and utterly irreplaceable. On the vast plains of the Masai Mara, where dry grass carries the scent of heat and distant roars echo through the night, a quiet yet powerful story begins. This is not a tale of endless herds or massive migrations. It is a story of survival at its most intimate scale, a mother and her child. Her name is Luna, a leopard with emerald eyes, shaped by instinct and experience. Beside her lies Bisi, born into a world both breathtaking and unforgiving. Luna moves like a shadow through tall grass. Her spot-ted coat dissolves into darkness, while her eyes remain, glowing like fragments of green fire. For weeks, she searches for silence, not emptiness, but safety, a place where new life can remain unseen. At last, she finds an ancient tree. Its roots dig deep into fertile soil, and its crown breaks the harsh sun above. Here, Luna lowers her body, exhausted yet resolute. Her muscles tighten, her breathing deepens. Each trem or signals the arrival of life. The wind brushes her fur gently, as if the savanna itself is holding its breath. In a single fragile moment, Bessie enters the world, small, soft, barely able to open his eyes. Luna cleans him with endless patience. She stimulates his weak limbs. She wraps him in warmth. A bond forms instantly beneath the old tree. For days, Luna barely leaves the den. When she does, it is brief and precise, a quick hunt, a her-ride meal, then back to her cub. Each departure tightens her chest. Masai Mara spares no mistakes. Leons, hyenas, eagles. Even vultures can spell death for a defenseless cub. Luna knows this, so she moves, from bush to bush, from hollow trunk to grass-covered rock. They never stay long. Survival demands motion. One evening, as the sun bleeds red across the horizon, vultures gather nearby. Luna freezes. Her blood turns cold. Her emerald eyes sharpen into blades. She steps forward, silent and deliberate. The wind delivers the unmistakable scent of intrusion. Then she explodes into motion. Her roar tears through the calm like thunder. Claws slice the air. Her body surges with raw fury. The vultures scatter in chaos and dust. None dare challenge her resolve. Luna returns to Bessie, panting but victorious. In this moment, she is more than a predator. She is a shield, a boundary between her child and the world. Days pass. Bessie grows. His steps are clumsy, yet stronger each time. Luna guides him patiently. She teaches him to move quietly through grass, to climb low branches with uncertain claws, to listen to the wind and read its warnings. When he strays too far, she growls softly. When heat overwhelms him, she nudges him into shade. When fear takes hold, she comforts him with gentle licks. Et veri gesture caris a leçon. Every glance promise es survival. As golden light floods the plains at dusk, zebras graze peacefully in the distance. They do not sense the danger forming within the grass. Luna, still recovering from birth, makes a rare decision. She will not hunt alone. She forms a temporary alliance with two other female leopards. A fragile partnership, but a necessary one. The three advance in silence. Each takes position, one ahead, one to the side. Luna closes the circle. Tension thickens the air. A young zebra lags behind. The moment breaks. They strike together like released arrows. The chase is short, brutal, decisive. The plains fall silent once more. Luna allows Besi to approach the fallen prey. He bites awkwardly, pulls with all his strength, learns to tear and swallow under his moth-hair's watchful eyes. This is more than feeding. It is education. The savannah shows no mercy to the unprepared. Every e-bite brings him closer to independence. With time, Besi becomes faster, stronger, more confident. He climbs modest trees, hunts lizards and small birds, chases shadows through the grass. Luna watches with pride, and with quiet sorrow. She knows what must come. Among leopards, separation is inevitable. Cubs do not remain forever. Each must claim their own path. That day are ribs. The sun sets in streaks of red and violet. Luna and Besi stand together atop a low rise. He is no longer fragile. Muscles ripple beneath his skin. His eyes mirror hers. They exchange no sound. Luna does not stop him. Besi hesitates, looks back once. Luna stands still, regal, calm in the knowledge that her task is complete. Besi turns away, steps toward the horizon, toward his own destiny. His form fades in to tall grass. Luna remains beneath the dying light. She does not cry. She does not roar. She simply watches life continue. This is nature's law. Every creature must find its place. Every creature must fight for its own survival. Luna has done her part. She protected, she nurtured, she taught. Now her legacy moves forward with his steps. Night falls over the Masai Mara. Stars shine like ancient eyes above. In the distance, leons roar and vultures fight. Danger never sleeps here. Yet Luna rests beneath her rooted tree. Her eyes close in quiet acceptance. Basie's stokery has just begun. Hers continues. The savannah always of furs, new trials, new battles, new dawns. And so this chapter of wildlife closes, a story shaped by love, courage, and survival. Across the African plains, every creature holds a role, from silent snakes waiting in the dust, to vultures cleaning the aftermath, to endless columns of zebras, to leopards defending their young with fierce devotion. Together, they form a symphony, brutal, beautiful, unending. Thank you for joining this journey into the wild. If nature and its stories move you, continue exploring with us. The next adventure waits, because on the savannah, the extraordinary never rests. Yosemite Wild. Granite walls rise without warning, tall and silent, like ancient monuments carved by time itself. Waterfalls spill from the high country, their low thunder echoing through the valley, carrying the breath of the mountains. Yosemite reveals itself as a sacred wilderness, a place that draws mill lions, yet never truly belongs to anyone. Musica, behind its breathtaking beauty lies a restless world, shaped by heat and cold, light and shadow, where survival is never guaranteed. This documentary moves straight into the heart of Yosemite, from its deep valleys to its towering cliffs, uncovering nature in its most honest form. Here, the very creature fights quietly, relentlessly, for the right to exist one moment longer. Welcome to Yosemite Wild, where life unfolds as an endless chronically of struggle and resilience. Across open meadows, mule deer step lightly, ears alert, sensing danger long before it appears. Above them, bobcats and gray foxes glide along granite ledges, patient and precise, waiting for a single mistake. Time seems to hold its breath in these fragile seconds. A sudden leap ends a life as swiftly as it began. When winter wraps Yosemite in ice and snow, the music of the land deepens, darker and more solemn. Food becomes scarce, and predators grow bolder, driven by hunger and instinct. Yet even in hardship, Yosemite continues its powerful rhythm, unbroken and unstoppable. Yosemite National Park stands among the most iconic protected landscapes in the United States. Landmarks like El Capitan and Half Dome have watched wildlife rise and fall for over 100 million years. European explorers arrived in the early 19th century, but it was naturalist John Muir who gave Yosemite its voice to the world. In 1890, Yosemite became a national park, following early protection signed by President Abraham Lincoln, safeguarding its valley and the legendary groves of giant sequoias. This moment marked a turning point, when land was preserved not for profit, but for its natural value alone. Yosemite's story is written in stone and flowing water. Musica. Spanning 1,189 square miles within California's Sierra Nevada, The park stands like a granite fortress shaped by ancient forces. Molten rock cooled deep underground. Then massive glaciers carved the land through repeated ice ages. In spring, melting snow awakens the falls. Bredalvale Fall and Vernal Fall roar with renewed force, while Yosemite Falls plunges 739 meters, the tallest in North America, singing day and night of rebirth. This land shelters more than 100 species of flowering plants and 3 immense sequoia groves. Butterfly Grove alone protects over 500 giants, including the legendary grizzly giant, among the largest living trees on Earth. These forests support over 400 animal species, from mammals and birds to reptiles and amphibians. Each one adapts, endures, and fights through EV season to keep life moving forward. As summer arrives, warm sunlight floods the Yosemite Valley. The Merced River glides below, while martins carve perfect circles in the sky before diving for fish. Meanwhile, Douglas squirrels race across branches, gathering fallen cones with tireless energy. These small creatures quietly shape the balance of the forest. Every seed stored becomes a promise for the future. Summer is a season of abundance, but also of fierce competition. In Yosemite, beauty and fragility exist side by side, reminding us that nature's power is vast, yet never invincible. At first light, open flower fields turn into quiet arenas of pursuit. The air is still, and every shadow feels alive. From the tall grass to the forest edge, a red bobcat drifts into view, known to science as Lynx rufus. It moves without urgency, yet no thing escapes its attention. Recent ecological research from Yosemite National Park, published in 2024, reveals how these cats expand their range during warmer seasons. Their territories can stretch several square miles, shaped by food, cover, and opportunity. Compact in size but powerful in build, they combine strength and flexibility with remarkable precision. Each hunt unfolds like a silent performance. In summer, dense foliage becomes an ally rather than an obstacle. The bobcat lowers its body, listens, and waits, tuned to the faintest sound or motion. Minutes can pass in complete stillness. Then, in a single burst, A leap carries it forward, fast and decisive. These predators do not rely on one method alone. They climb when birds are near. They pause beside streams when fish pass through shallow water. They sprint across open ground, pushing larger prey to exhaustion before closing in. This adaptability is their greatest strength. It grants them a success rate far higher than many hunters sharing the same land. In Yosemite, survival belongs not only to the strongest, it belongs to those who read the land, move with patience, and strike in harmony with nature's fragile balance. Not only big cats struggle for survival in Yosemite, in the shadows a quieter contender thrives. The gray fox stands as a testament to adaptation and intelligence. Its success is not built on strength, but on flexibility. It hunts mice, rabbits, and small birds. When prey is scarce, it turns to insects, berries, and fallen seeds. What truly sets the gray fox apart is an unexpected skill. It climbs trees with ease, a rare ability among foxes. Yet this advantage does not guarantee safety. In Yosemite, hunters are often hunted from above. Golden eagles patrol the sky, silent and watchful. To survive, the fox chooses its hours carefully. Most hunts unfold under darkness or at first light. Night and dawn offer cover, reducing the chance of detection. Even when spotted, escape is possible. With speed and instinct, the fox dives into dense brush or rocky crevices. Sometimes it drops suddenly, reversing direction in a moment of chaos. Confusion becomes its shield. Tree climbing is more than a feeding strategy. It is a lifeline, a way to avoid rivals and death alike. Because of this adaptability, gray fox numbers remain steady in Yosemite. Recent estimates place the population between 2,500 and 3,000 individuals. Stability here is not luck. Still, the sky belongs to another ruler. The golden eagle remains one of Yosemite's most powerful predators. Known to science as Aquila crisa etos, It dominates with precision and force. Its hunts are timed with care. Most aerial strikes occur at dawn and late afternoon. These hours spare energy and align with prey movement. Rabbits and ground squirrels emerge, unaware of the danger above. With wings spanning nearly 2 meters, the eagle rides rising air currents. It scans valleys and forests without a single wing beat. Its vision is extraordinary, 4 to 5 times sharper than human sight. From nearly 3 kilometers away, a single movement is enough. Once locked on, the dive begins. Speed builds beyond 240 kilometers per hour. Gravity becomes a weapon. In seconds, the hunt is decided. Talons strike with crushing force, up to 400 pounds per square inch, enough to seize, to hold, to end resistance. Through this power, the golden eagle takes more than rodents. Even gray foxes and young sheep can fall. In Yosemite, survival is a constant negotiation between ground and sky, between strength and strategy. This balance reveals nature's true message. Power is impressive, adaptation is essential, and harmony is fragile. While predators stalk the sunlit valley floor, another force quietly reshapes the land below the surface. The beaver, Castor canadensis, the largest rodent in North America. In summer, its work intensifies. Steel-hard incisors bite through saplings and branches, each cut guided by instinct and memory. Logs heavy for its size are dragged one by one toward a growing structure. Season after season, hundreds of branches become a single purpose: control the water. These are not simple barriers. Beaver dams are living systems adjusting streams, slowing floods, and calming erosion. In rising from shallow creeks to walls of wood and mud, some stretch longer than a basketball court. Constant repairs follow every storm, every surge. Where dams stand, soil holds firm and waterways remain clear. Erosion drops sharply and the land breathes again. And pools and wetlands spread outward, storing moisture, feeding plants, and sustaining life through dry months. Musica. A 2024 ecological study confirmed what the landscape already showed. Beaver dams boost biodiversity by nearly 1/4, transforming ordinary streams into thriving refuges. In Yosemite, survival is not always about hunting or speed. Sometimes it is about building balance one branch at a time. As autumn arrives, Yosemite changes its voice. Greens fade into gold and crimson, and the land begins to breathe slower. Fallen leaves crackly underfoot. Cold air slips through the valleys, quietly announcing that winter is near. See, this is the season of preparation. Every movement now is an investment in survival. Among the most iconic residents stands the mule deer. Thousands roam Yosemite, forming one of California's strongest remaining herds. These herbivores are more than animals of the meadow. They anchor the balance between predators, forests, and open grasslands. As temperatures drop, they leave the high mountains behind, low-air valleys of fur greener for age, and a fragile promise of safety. This journey is not just distance, it is risk. Every step carries consequence. Large ears rise like antennas, catching danger before it arrives. Silent hooves slip through forest shadows and open land. See feeding happens at dawn and dusk. Low light becomes a shield against watching eyes. Sharp vision and a powerful sense of smell guide them to scarce food. Those same senses warn them when death moves nearby. Strength lies in numbers. Moving together improves early detection and increases survival. Steep slopes, rocks, and thick brush become all lies. Rough terrain slows predators and favors escape. Science confirms what nature already knows. Survival rates climb sharply where the land is complex. When chased, the herd breaks into zigzag paths. Confusion saves lives. Throughout autumn, each deer consumes energy-rich plants daily. Fat reserves grow, quietly storing hope for winter. These reserves will mean everything when snow covers the ground. In Yosemite, autumn is not an ending. It is a leçon in foresight. Those who prepare endure. The fight for food turns ruthless. Every scrap becomes a battlefield. Into this chaos steps the koi oat, Canis latrans, light on its feet, sharp in its thinking, not the strongest hunter, but one of the smartest survivors. Moving as a pack, koi oats weaponize speed and numbers. They rush in, harass, overwhelm. Rob and scatter. Golden eagles retreat. Evan bears think twice. But survival here is never one-dimensional. Koi oats are not bound to flesh alone. They hunt small prey. They chew berries and grasses. They adapt without hesitation. When abundance fades, instinct takes over. Food is buried in shallow earth. Hidden today, reclaimed months later, acquiesce insurance policy against hunger. This flexible D8, paired with strategic caching, keeps the balance intact. In Yosemite, their numbers remain steady hundreds strong, year after year. While predators clash and compete, the American black bear chooses a quiet air strategy patience instead of conflict. As autumn arrives, time becomes its real enemy, and every hour matters before winter seals the land. Guided by an extraordinary sense of smell, the bear moves through forests and meadows, following invisible trails of food, car ride on the wind. Berries, roots, grasses, and hard nuts become fuel. Each bite part of a precise biological countdown. Day after day, calorie intake skyrockets, pushing the body far beyond normal limits to build a life-saving reserve of fat. This growing layer is more than energy storage. It is insulation, protection, and survival written into flesh. As fall fades, the bear searches for silence and shelter. Choosing caves, hollow trees, or dense vegetation hidden from storms and danger. Activity slows, metabolism shifts, and the body prepares for a long retreat from the frozen world outside. Winter then takes hold of Yosemite, transforming its valleys into white deserts and its peaks into frozen walls. Snow buries the ground, daylight shrinks, and movement becomes costly for ivrae creaturae still awake. Mani an imals struggle. Some fail, as food disappears beneath meters of ice and snow. The black bear answers this challenge by vanishing into hibernation, turning inward instead of fighting the cold. Its heartbeat slows, body temperature drops, and energy use falls to a fraction of summer life. Yet this is not sleep, it is controlled survival, with brief awakenings to adjust, to sense, to endure. Deep in winter, new life begins as cubs are born in the darkness. Nourished entirely by stored energy. When spring finale returns, the forest wakes again, and so does the bear. Through this silent, brilliant strategy, black bears continue to thrive in Yosemite. Proving that survival does not always belong to the strongest, but to the smartest. As bears disappear into hibernation, wolves are left awake in a landscape locked in ice. Winter tightens its grip, draining food from the land and forcing wolves to roam vast distances each day just to stay alive. Their bodies respond with thicker fur, a natural shield that slows heat loss in deadly cold. In a world muted by snow, hearing becomes their sharpest sense, detecting life hidden beneath the frozen surface. A sudden pause, a focused leap, and a small animal is unearthed in sequence, turning silence into survival. When hunting fails, wolves choose resilience over pride, feeding on remains, fallen fruit, or human waste if nothing else exists. That adaptability saves them in winter. High in Yosemite's rocky peaks, ice-eye winds cut through the air. They challenge every teeny creature that lives there. Among them, the Pica ochotona princeps prepares for the harshest months. It gathers every blade of grass it can find. Small yet resilient, their thick fur shields them from temperatures plunging below negative 29 degrees Fahrenheit. In Narro crevices, they shelter from biting wind and deep snow. They create secret stores of dried plants. But warming climates force them higher. They seek colder altitudes above 9,500 feet to survive. Winter also tests the golden eagle. Snow blankets the peaks. Prey becomes scarce. Some eagles descend to lower lands. Hunting is easier there, but the mountains remain their domain. With eyesight 4 times sharper than humans, they scan the frozen slopes. They spot movement beneath the snow or leftovers from other predators. Yet harsh cold shrinks populations of rabbits and gray foxes. Hunting success drops from 50% in summer to 20 to 30% in winter. To endure, eagles rely more on carrion. (25 to 30% of their winter diet comes from frozen mule deer or young bighorn sheep. This strategy conserves energy, but it sparks conflicts with wolves. Sometimes it costs both injury and effort. Today, only 100 to 120 golden eagles remain in the park, a stark warning of survival under a changing climate. Yosemite emerges from winter as sunlight softens the cold silence. Melted snow rushes from the cliffs, carrying sound, movement, and momentum into the valley. Trees awaken slowly, green spreading leaf by leaf across stone and soil. This moment is not decoration. It is biology in motion. New buds rise as proof that life follows structure, timing, and balance. Meadows ignite with color as wildflowers respond to warmth and light. The air fills with returning wings, birds guided by instinct older than memory. From sparrows to golden eagles, nests take shape, boundaries are drawn, and young lives are defended. Closer to the ground, small mammals surge back into motion. Squirrels, weasels, and picas move faster, driven by lost time and rising needs. Their activity increases sharply, energy reclaimed after months of restraint. Every movement is a calculation between risk and survival. In Yosemite, spring does not arrive softly. It arrives with purpose, discipline, and force. Life resumes, coordinated and unstoppable. The land advances forward, as one system, together. As spring loosens the grip of ice, beavers emerge from their winter shelters. Warmer days, IG night urgensai. Their ACTVT nearly doubles as time becomes a resource. They move with purpose, reinforcing dams, widening channels, restoring landscapes reshaped by winter. This labor is not random. It stabilizes water flow, protects wetlands, and resets ecological balance. Spring also carries consequence. It is the turning point of reproduction. Young are born near the season's end, small groups, fragile, and entirely dependent. Both parents share the work of survival. They guard, nurture, and teach, turning instinct into learned skill. Food gathering, dam building, and shelter maintenance become daily lessons. As the young grow stronger, they leave the safety of the lodge. Guided closely, they learn how to control water, repair structures, and read the land. This passing of knowledge ensures more than survival. Early spring lifts the silence, and black bears step back into the open. Hibernation has stripped weight and strength, leaving bodies reset by survival. Recovery comes slowly, never rushed. They feed with restraint, choosing young grasses and soft shoots. Digestion reawakens, balance returns, one function at a time. Energy builds as weeks pass. Roots, bark, and scattered remains supply dense fuel. Each decision reflects efficiency, shaped by instinct and biology. Spring also opens the world for the cubs. Born in winter darkness, they follow their mother into light for the first time. Every step is watched, copied, remembered. Learning dominates each day. Food, terrain, danger, and distance become lessons without words. Repetition turns observation into survival. Time moves quickly now. By the end of the warm season, independence will be required. In these first weeks, nothing looks dramatic. Yet here, quietly, the future is decided. Spring arrives with urgency for grazing animals. Mule deer emerge from a winter of scarcity, with bodies depleted and energy to reclaim. They seek the first green grass, fresh shoots, and newly opened leaves. Under yearly sunlight, feeding becomes recovery, and life regains momentum. For males, spring begins a demanding transformation. Antlers return after winter loss, growing rapidly and drawing heavily on minerals and nutrients. Food now fuels more than survival. It builds future strength. As antlers rise, males begin to define space and status. Light clashes test. Here are Chi, shaping readiness for seasons ahead. These encounters are me-assured, yet meaningful. For females, spring is the season of birth. Fawns are delivered where vegetation is thick and cover of furs protection. Safety depends on concealment, timing, and instinct. Mothers remain vigilant, nursing, guarding, and limiting exposure to danger. Their focus is singular, survival of the young. Within weeks, the fawns begin to follow. They learn to walk, to feed, and to stay close. This yearly guidance builds strength beyond muscle. It teaches awareness, movement, and restraint. Here, quietly, the foundation for independence is formed. After enduring the long grip of winter, Yosemite steps into spring. The land breathes again, opening a new cycle shaped by opportunity and risk. Warming temperatures now shadow this renewal. Across the last century, the park has grown steadily warmer, and balance has shifted. Winters are softer, carrying less snow. The mountains store less water, and drought follows when life needs it most. Streams that once ran strong now thin and fade. Wetlands shrink, and the first signs of stress appear in silence. Bia verse lose stable waters. Picus retreat upslope. Golden eagles circle witter, terri to rees in search of prey. Climate change is not an abstract threat here. It rewrites the daily rules of survival. Whitebark pine struggles under harsher conditions. Salmon change ancient routes as creeks grow shallow. Mule deer travel farther for food. Each step increases the risk of deadly encounters with wolves and golden eagles. Extreme events now strike with little warning. Violent storms swell rivers beyond their limits. Sudden floods tear through valleys once considered stable. These waders erase beaver dams built through months of effort. They carve new channels, breaking fragile freshwater systems. Birds that return each year to nest find uncertainty instead of safety. Breeding grounds shift. Timming fails. Survival narrows. Drought stretching from 2020 to 2023 pushed the system closer to collapse. Dry streams, shrinking lakes, and with-eared plants became the landscape's warning signs. For species bound to water, such as mule deer and golden eagles, scarcity is more than hardship. It is a test of endurance, a question of whether life can keep pace with change. Over the last decade, Yosemite has stood on the front line of a growing fire era, where ancient forests have repeatedly faced walls of flame. In 2013, the Rim Fire tore through the heart of the park, scorching more than 250,000 acres and leaving visible scars across a once unbroken wilderness. The fire did more than burn trees. It dismantled entire ecological networks that countless species relied on to survive. Old-growth forests, some standing for thousands of years, once sheltered creatures like the northern spotted owl and the American marten. Many of those quiet refuges vanished in smoke. Yet destruction was not the whole story. For giant sequoias, fire is not an enemy. It is part of their life cycle. Their thick armored bark shields them from intense heat, while fire unlocks their future by releasing seeds sealed inside hardened cones. As flames clear dense undergrowth, ash-rich soil forms a natural nursery, giving young sequoias space, light, and nutrients to grow. Fire, when balanced, becomes renewal, but today, balance is slipping. Climate change is driving longer droughts, hotter summers, and fires that burn faster and more violently than forests can recover from. By 2023, conservation groups warned that natural fire patterns were transforming into uncontrollable firestorms, pushing wildlife beyond its ability to adapt. At the same time, another pressure is quietly reshaping Yosemite. Each year, more than 4 million people arrive, drawn by granite cliffs, roaring waterfalls, and the promise of untouched nature. Tourism fuels conservation funding and local economies, but it also strains an ecosystem never designed for constant human presence. Black bears, icons of the park, are increasingly lured by food scraps and unsecured trash. Reports from 2023 revealed that nearly 1/3 of Yosemite's bears had direct contact with human food, altering their behavior and raising the risk of dangerous encounters. Some bears stopped for agging naturally, trading instinct for convenience. The cost was conflict, relocation, or worse. Infrastructure built to support tourism has left lasting marks. Roads, lodges, and crowded valleys fracture habitats once shared freely by gray foxes, mountain lions, and mule deer. Studies in 2023 confirmed that continued expansion of visitor infrastructure has degraded key wildlife corridors. The balance between access and protection is growing more fragile. Yet Yosemite's story is not one of surrender. Conservation here means restoring damaged land, controlling invasive species, and reconnecting broken habitats. According to the National Park Service, these efforts expanded natural habitat by 15% over the past decade. Visitor management became another powerful tool. Seasonal access limits and education campaigns reduced waste by 20% and significantly lowered wildlife disturbance by 2024. Black bear conservation of furs proof of progress. Bear-proof food store age. Strict regulations and public awareness campaigns led to a 75% drop in bear-related incidents. By 2023, more than 400 black bears were thriving inside the park. Another quiet success returned with water and wood. Beavers, once eradicated from Yosemite, were reintroduced in the 1930s. By 2023, their dams reshaped wetlands, improved water quality, and created living refuges for countless species. These small engineers rebuilt entire ecosystems stick by stick. Yosemite teaches a simple truth. Nature can recover, but only if given time, space, and respect. Protecting this park is not just about preserving scenery. It is about safeguarding the systems that sustain life, ours included. Every choice matters. Every visit leaves a footprint. And Yosemite's future depends on whether humanity learns to walk more lightly through the wild.